The perception for many voters we speak to is that the country feels more divided than it's been in decades. The feeling of us versus them, the nasty rhetoric, all things that were addressed by the candidates in our series, including the Republican primary candidate who's been challenging President Trump for months now.
I think the job of the president is to make everybody feel good about being an American, and I think it's bad for the whole country, and from a prudential point of view, by prudential I mean preserving social cohesion, if people live in the shadows. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I was the first guy out of the block with gay and lesbian civil rights my first year in office, and I was, believe me, by myself for 20, 25 years there, because I think when people live in the shadows, that should not exist in a democracy. You know, that can exist under tyranny because that's part of what the tyrant wants. Well, I try to do sort of the same type of thing I did as governor. I put in place policies that would unleash everybody's energies, make everybody feel included. My cabinet was eight women and 3 men, and always included minorities. I didn't want anyone to feel that they weren't part of the equation. So that's something I would want to bring to Washington, where, guess what? It doesn't reside right now. You know, it's not only the president. The situation of the D and the R parties, they sometimes seem to me to exist mainly for the purpose of killing the other party. You know, I made a great point of meeting with the Democratic legislature leaders every week. Because it's hard to, you know, stab somebody in the back if you know you're going to see them over coffee and cookies sometime in the next 7 days. And that was very successful, and they've kept that tradition to this day.
I'm literally the only one in this field that won in a state that Donald Trump won. And I think that we need to both not only bring out our base, but we also got to win back places that we lost. Anybody that thinks it's going to be enough just to be against Donald Trump, I think is mistaken. We need to actually be able to win back places we lost. We also have to give people a reason to vote for us, not just against him. This is a dangerous, from my perspective, a dangerous time in this 243-year experiment called representative democracy. We are more divided than any time in our nation's history. And forget about cable TV or Twitter. I mean, politics is dividing us at our Thanksgiving tables. And that's not the promise of America. So I also think I'm the only one in this field that's actually been able to demonstrate that you can bridge divides and get meaningful progressive policy done. I think I offer something by being outside of Washington, D.C. D.C.'s often become a place where talking about an issue is a substitute for doing something about the issue. And I think as a governor, as someone that, as an executive that's actually had to do many of the things that we're talking about and do it in a way that can positively impact people's lives, I offer something significant from this field as well.
All of us need to remember that the foundational principle of this country is unity in diversity. Out of many, one. I think we all need to take a deep breath and remember that none of us have a monopoly on truth. Other people do not owe it to you to agree with you. There are high-minded conservative principles and there are high-minded liberal principles. We need a consensus of people of goodwill who know that. I think a smug, self-righteous, intolerant left-winger is no more or less dangerous to the emotional fabric of this country than a smug, self-righteous, intolerant right-winger. We need people to take a deep breath, to know that none of us, as I said, have a monopoly on truth. Other people, whether they agree with you or not, have values as well and care about life as you do. And when we find that center within ourselves, then we acknowledge that place in other people. It's a change in our own hearts that has to happen in order for us to reclaim the public discourse of honor and goodness. We're here to love each other. And when you forget that, things fall into chaos. And that is as true of a nation as it is of an individual. All that a nation is a group of people. So the same spiritual and moral principles that prevail within the life of an individual prevail within the life of a nation. And that includes, love includes radical honesty with oneself, admitting your own character defects, admitting where you haven't been who you say you are. And that's why I feel that I'm uniquely qualified to help navigate these times. Because I feel that I can, along with the American people, with love for this country, take a deep look. Where are we not now who we say we are?
I learned a lesson a long time ago, most important lesson I learned in public life, that it's always appropriate to question another man or woman's judgment, never their motive. Once you say the reason why you disagree with me is you're in the pocket of boom, we can never get to go. We can never get to an agreement. And so it starts off by treating other people with decency, not attacking motive, saying, I think you're dead wrong about your position, Senator so-and-so, on not reauthorizing the violence against women. I don't say you're against this because you beat your wife. I'm being a bit facetious, but you understand what I'm saying. It requires civility. And one of the things, by the way, we all have to do, think about it. When's the last time there was a serious storm and your sewer got backed up and you want to thank the guy who kept the sewer from flooding into your... I'm not joking, I'm being deadly earnest. And thank you for the job they've done. Or you got a storm and the person's climbing up in the middle of the storm hooking up that generator. When's the last time you and said, thank you, thank you? It's about being civil. It's like those commercials, opening the door. A combination of a whole lot of things has put us to the position where we're not acting like who we are as a people. There's an American creed. It's about decency, honor, respect, leaving no one behind. I really mean it. Think about it. Think about it. We haven't always lived up to it, but it's been the essence of who we are. You need help? I'm here to help. We're not doing it.